Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. In just a bit, I'm going to be checking out the new indie comedy, Waning Poetic. So what's the plot of this story? Well, it tells the story of a group of graduating teenagers from high school in 2024. And in some weird sci-fi or mystic way, they are connected with students from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. And they have a nice little talk about times and graduating and moving on in life and all sorts of good stuff. The way that it was explained to me was, think of The Breakfast Club meets Back to the Future. And those are two movies I really enjoy, so I've got some pretty high hopes for this film. This movie is written and directed by George Massimillo, which I'm really hoping I got your name correct, George. Anyways, this is a film that he made himself, written, directed, produced, the whole nine yards. And earlier this year, in fact, I want to say it was my second review of the year. Back in January, I reviewed another of his films called It's Love Bro, and I really enjoyed it. It was a really fun, romantic comedy. And something about George's work that I really enjoy. Most of the time, and I'm not bad-mouthing indie horror by any means, y'all know I love my indie horror, but 9 times out of 10, when a writer, director is making an independent film, they tend to go with something horror-related. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that horror sells, and it has a very large community of fans that are going to go see a movie no matter what. And so it's always a safe bet when you're doing an indie film to go with horror. But George shakes it up a little bit. I mean, the last movie of his I did was a romantic comedy, and this looks like it's going to be a coming-of-age comedy. And honestly, guys, I really am excited to get over and see this. George seems to focus a lot on the dialogue and storytelling of his films. You know, he knows he's working with a younger cast, an experienced cast, and all, so he doesn't really tailor films that are going to be too awful huge and heavy lifting for the actors and such. It really just develops a really strong story for his films. So anyways, it's enough of me sitting here yammering on. I need to walk on over to the futon. And yes, still the broken toe. It's going to be probably probably mid-September before I'm actually walking around like a normal human again. But anyways, I'm going to shuffle my happy ass on over there to the futon because it's time for me to check out Waning Poetic. Welcome back. Just getting done checking out Waning Poetic, and guys, I enjoyed it. This was a fun little film. So let's get this started, shall we? We're going to get things started with negatives, then move into the positives to end the video on the ever so important high note. If there's one thing that I would say kind of stuck in my craw, was right at the beginning of the third act, right when we feel like you're going to find out what's going on, the movie kind of ho-hums around on the subject. It goes back and forth with banter, with, oh, tell us what's going on. Oh, I can't tell you what's going on because it could destroy time. No, seriously, tell us what's going on. It just kind of delays itself for the longest time, and then finally it starts to move forward. It starts to unveil the mysteries of what's going on and all, but there for a moment, it was slightly frustrating. Also, one of the characters in particular, the one played by Sophia Dean, Ella, she is very unlikable for a good portion of this film. Don't worry, she does have some character growth and moves on, but the character just kind of grates on your nerves for a really long time. And so I guess in a way that does get kind of irritating. Now, I'm not saying that the actress does a bad job. In fact, if that's the way the character was designed to be, she did an excellent job because she really portrayed that type of a character that just, like I said, is kind of a know-it-all bossy type of person, not very likable. But what's nice is that the character does move on with a lot of character growth and changes and all, but my goodness, for the time that you spend with her being in that way, holy smokes, it just kind of grates on your nerves after a while. I think maybe just could have lightened her up a little bit, maybe more in the second act, so we can kind of start to like her a little bit more. But unfortunately, the character doesn't really start to turn around until the third act, so there's a good hour of her just being very irritable. Maybe she was supposed to be the villain of our story, kind of. I'm not sure, but unfortunately, that did kind of also get on my nerves. Other than that, though, I'm not saying nothing really bothered me. I thought this was a charming and fun film for what it was worth. I thought the cast did an excellent job. One of the characters and actors did, in my opinion, stand out, and that was, I'm hoping I get his name correct, Thaddeus Sorry, let's try that again. Thaddeus Palesia. All right. Anyways, he plays the character Ryan, and he's the guy from the 1990s, 1996 to be exact, which, funny enough, that's the year my sister graduated high school. Well, one of my sisters graduated high school. I digress. Anyways, Ryan's a fun character. I liked him a lot. I thought the actor also did a great job. He is also one of the funnier characters. He has a lot of the good jokes. He carries a good portion of the comedy. Not that he's the comic relief, but he is the person, in my opinion, that has the best comedy chops, the best delivery. He really kind of went into this knowing the score. He knew what to expect. He knew how to do a comedic performance, and he did an excellent job, and I really liked it. I think that all the actors together did a great job. Their characters, despite the fact I was complaining about Ella being a little annoying up till the end, all in all, the characters end up being likable characters. You really get behind them. You're rooting for them. You're hoping for the best outcomes for everybody in this story. It all works out. There was also, again, the story itself is very interesting and entertaining. It does, again, like I said, in the third act, it has that moment where it slows down a little bit, but up till that point, it really does a good job of keeping you interested, keeping you wanting to know more about what's going on, learning about the characters and such as the film progresses, and I think all in all, this is a really solid film. Although, I have a little bad news for you all. If you're sitting there wondering, well, where can I see this? As of yet, to the best of my knowledge, this film has not been released. It's currently being ready to be released, and I'm not 100% certain. George had said that they were going to be doing the big premiere of the film this summer, so maybe the premiere has already happened, and I know that he was going to be entering it into different film festivals throughout the country, so keep your eyes open. Maybe this fall you're going to start seeing this show up in film festivals in your area, and if you do, go out there, give it a shot, give it a chance, give it a watch. Because as I always like to say on this channel, is that indie cinema is the lifeblood of the cinema. Indie films are the lifeblood of the cinema. I'm getting a little verklempt, it sounds like, doesn't it? Alright, well, let's just wrap it up, shall we? Thanks again for checking the Film Geek. If you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up so I know you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you can do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna.